Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday night live stream, live reactions to the Week 2 finals teams as they drop. It's your
Mate,
boy Joe with the face cam on, and Jez, Big J, doesn't have a camera on.
no, not today, fellas. Sorry. Yeah, maybe when I get home, we'll figure it out. But
No
Joe,
face.
it's been a bit of a busy week. Kind of teams getting moved, new coaches coming to different clubs, and then players leaving the AFL as well. So yeah, we can talk about the games that are on this week and who we think are going to win and lose. But there's also a lot of trade talk and. Mate, it's only September and some players have already said, yep, I'm going here, sign the papers and let me go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is a really busy part of the season right now. Just because
Yeah.
your team's not in finals doesn't mean you're not having a lot of action. I mean, Sydney are out of the finals now, and
Even
he's got the news just today about Dylan
yeah.
Stevens wanting to move and go down to your boys at the Kangaroos. So that's really exciting.
It's speculated, but he hasn't, like, he's told them, hey, I'm leaving, but he hasn't said where he wants to go yet. So we're just waiting to hear that information. But yeah, like you say, we've been playing Eddie Ford on the wing and he's been doing really well. But I think to have an actual winger, someone who can run and not just run, but run all day, maybe he can swap with Eddie Ford, kind of playing a little bit of more majority wing and Ford play in the forward line, and then they do a bit of a swap kind of halfway through.
Yeah, that's going to be really exciting for you. And obviously, there's big news that, obviously this is not the most recent breaking news, but in terms of, Grundy, for example, to Port doesn't seem to be happening anymore. Grundy seems to be heading over to Sydney. So it's...
Port have already resigned themselves to not getting in because Jordan Sweet's coming across, apparently.
Yes, that's exactly right. So a lot of changes happening around the AFL, and it's cool. It's a lot of excitement. I haven't heard anything groundbreaking for us in terms of who we're going to be getting to come to our club. We've heard BZT wanting to leave, and that's very sad.
Are you guys actually going to get anyone, Joe? That's the real question. Do you know anyone that's considering going to the hangar?
Well, I know we're sort of interested in trying to get Kyle Lohman across from Brisbane. So I don't know. Fingers crossed that can happen. But at the end of the day, there's no real big fish coming our way. I think we just got to try and see if we can consolidate our team. Try and get some of these youngsters healthy so they can keep trying to play and develop them. But maybe even a Goldstein. Maybe the Goldstein is the best that we can possibly get, Jez. Jen, Grundy will do well and have more game time. Yes, that's exactly right. See, for all of us super coaches, Grundy going to Sydney is insanely good. I think as a result of this, I will move that one there. I think as a result of Grundy's move to Sydney, it's hard not to...
All good.
You could have waited for me to finish my sentence, Jez, before you tell us about the leg. But yeah, so in terms of Grundy going to Sydney, I think it's for Supercoach. I think I might well and truly start him next year, Jen.
Yeah.
With that move, I think for the price, he's going to be much too good. He's going to be playing as a ruck, and we know that he's going to score great in the ruck. We've seen how great McLean in that game against Carlton, how great McLean showed that, hey, I can be a primary key forward. So and Grundy has shown he can't play that role. So with that Grundy move to the ruck line, we know it's going to be, I think, Grundy's stocks on the rise.
And they got Peter Laddams and some other players as well. So it's not like Grundy's forced to play forward ruck like he would be staying at Melbourne.
Yeah, 100%. Hippo, how's it going, mate? Oh, I love you, man. Rucks are going to be a headache next year. Gorn, Grundy, English, Marshall, Witt, Sweet.
It really depends next year kind of what the strategy like, because we saw how punishing this year was if you didn't have Tim English. So do you go Tim English and just say, cool, set and forget? Or do you go a bit cheaper? Because we saw as well, some people went cheaper this year in Marshall and ended up having him for the whole year and didn't have to trade him out because he kind of went back to his 120 plus days. Yes. So it's going to be a really challenging thing. I think it's almost, for me personally, I was going to go set and forget, right? But maybe you go one of the two. It really depends on what you can do with the rest of the money, because I don't think the forward line is going to have many good premiums, and I think I'm going to stack the back line. So it really just depends. Maybe if I go cheaper rucks, I can get a six in the midfield, for example, someone actually pretty good. So we'll wait and see there.
Well, I don't know about Sweet. Has Sweet ever shown some good scoring?
No, not really. But you're getting him because he's going to be tapping the ball to Rosie and Butters every week. So as a number one ruckman, like if he's got 200K to make, yeah. But that's
what Lycett did at the start of the year, and he didn't, and he died at the start of the year. Yeah,
but he got injured, right? He didn't play the whole year.
No, I think Lycett started, didn't he? That's why our good friend, the Scott father, started with Lycett and Forget, didn't he?
Yeah, but I think Lycett got injured throughout the year. Like, I don't think he played every game, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. That was kind of the issue, was he didn't play every game, and then it ended up being like, well, it doesn't work because the guy's not actually scoring. But if you're it really depends on price. If your ruckman's there, you know I was going to say Scott Lycett. You know Jordan Sweet's not going to be your number one keeper for the whole year. But can you really pass up if he's going to be 200K and then ends up being 500K? You know what I mean?
This is Scott Lycett, and we scroll down to Scott Lycett, how he did.
How many games did he play this year?
He played the first 5 games. Scott Lycett played the first 5 games.
And then after that, what?
An 87. Well, 5 weeks, right? He had 5 weeks of Rosie, Butters, Horn Francis. He was there. What did he score? 87, 48, 89, 77, 17.
Didn't Port start like 0-5 or something?
No, that was last year.
Oh, that was last year. Sorry. All the years getting put together for me.
Yeah, no, he didn't start 0-5 this year, but he had them. He's had a couple of spike games where he went 117 and 107, but overwhelmingly his year wasn't hot shot. So yeah. I don't know how much we can trust.
Yeah. Hey, I've seen some people saying, hey, let's put him on the bench, like how we started or brought in Braden Pruce a couple of years ago. So maybe that kind of works out depending on price. You know, I don't mind floating 200K on the bench depending on my team layout. If I know he's going to make 200, 250K. But yeah, it's a bit of a tough one. You can always just say set and forget rucks. You know what a Marshall and like a Tim English are going to do every week for you. So that might just be the plan.
I'm not going to go English. I'm not going to go English.
Spend less trades. I think that was a big thing this year and in previous years. You know, if you can spend less trades to finish your team, as good as bringing in the cheaper rucks might be, if you're not planning to have them the whole year, it's going to be a bit of a tough one.
That's true. Janet here says that she's going to start with Grundy and Marshall next year.
Yeah, potentially. I just don't know if Grundy can come back. Yes, he was playing with Gawn this year, but there was a couple of games, I will agree, where he was scoring big. But I don't know if the game's past him. Is he going to get rejuvenated at that Port team? Like, if he's only 150K, less than like the next best one, or a keeper, I don't know if I'm going to be like, oh well, I'm going to risk it and not pick the premium.
In the 3 weeks, where Gawn was not there and Grundy was rucking by himself, in that time, look at his scoring. He scored a 143, a 144, and a 128. He had a 3-game average of 138 solo rucking. So
I don't discount it. Yeah, I don't discount it, but it's just a big wait and see. I'm not going to say yes, I'm going to do this, or no, I'm not going to do this. at this point. Like, it's not even October yet.
I know, but for the price.
I think for the price, it's going to. I wouldn't discount any teams that have Grundy starting, especially if he ends up being around 400k or a little bit less. I think it's going to be hard to pass up, because that could be the difference between you starting a mid-pricer or you starting another bona fide premium.
Exactly. Hippo, I think Gorn Sweet could be the play. Gives you another mid-primo, not picking English. I think English is just way too expensive. I'm not going to get the value there. I'm more likely to pick Briggs over English at this point, to be honest. But even then, Briggs might be too expensive.
Briggs
how expensive is it?
He might be 600k.
Yeah, so he's a no good for me. I can't pay that much in the ruck. How much did Marshall end up finishing on? Marshall finished the year on 657. So, like, if Marshall finished on 657, then there's no way Briggs is going to be less than that.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be an interesting one.
Too many good rucks to choose from. Agreed, Jan. Globes, how's it going, brother? Hope you're doing well. I'm not going to go with English. There you go. Another person fading English. We'll need to find value primos. Agreed. We will have some different starting rucks next year. That's exactly right, Global. We're going through them. Hippo mentioned all of them. Gorn, Grundy, English, Marshall, Wit, Sweet. There's a wide array. Heck, people aren't talking about Draper enough. Even.
Yeah, well, we'll put out a preseason video, and it'll be pick of the week for a couple of days. It's going to be an interesting one, and I think that really shows the strength of the league and the strength of Supercoach for the year is the difference in starting rucks. There's always been, the Gorn and Grundy cycle for the last however many years and things like that. But we saw this year people going cheap, some people going Darcy, some people doing English and a few other things. If everyone ends up picking someone different, then it really just shows, hey, there's a lot of options and we're not kind of being shoehorned. Even in the mids next year, I think it's going to be really interesting as well, because there's going to be the people who pick your traditional players, and then there's the ones that are going to get you Rosie and Butters and all those ones who were like picks, in the midfield in the forward line this year. So we might end up having vastly different teams depending on what your strategy is like, and preseason form, of course.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Like, Joe, I have a question. I have a question for you and the fans while I'm driving. Is if it's looking like Butters and Rosie and Dunkley, for example, will be a little bit. Let's say they're around 600k, right? But it's looking in the preseason like the first couple of weeks they're going to be playing kind of that high half forward role. Would you consider bringing them in as in your starting team compared to the more traditional rucks if you knew at some point they would get DPP?
Traditional rucks?
No, sorry, traditional midfielders. Sorry. Like, would you pick them over a Lockie Neal or someone if you kind of knew, hey, there's a fair chance that they might get DPP early, which means I can shuffle things around?
Yes. I mean, if you look at Butters, these guys are playing on the ball. They're in the midfield for a reason. Now, they could rotate forward. I don't have a problem with them doing that.
Because it's a lot easier to get 35% forward time in 6 weeks of total versus in 18 or 12 weeks, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you look at Butters. He didn't have the greatest number of CBAs during the course of the season. You know what I mean? So, he doesn't need to have a massive number of CBAs in order for him to score well. If you look at this, what was the lowest he had? He had 50% CBAs for an 84 in this game, which is obviously not ideal. But here he had 59% CBAs and he scored 101. So he doesn't have to have a lot of CBAs to find a lot of the pill. You can still run through the midfield even if you're starting in the high. You look at Flanders,
which is why I'm half considering, instead of starting the more traditional midfielders, maybe I'll try and have a leg up and grab those guys who were like your good players who were mid forward this year in hopes that, hey, later on they might get mid-forward again pretty soon.
I mean, you look at Flanders and you see Flanders was playing that high half forward role. And in the back half of the season, he was absolutely tearing it up. 100, 119, 96, 125, 113, 85, 91, 81, 130, 121. So, look, just the high half forward role, not necessarily guaranteed to mean that you're gonna be bad. No, I'm 100% picking Butters and Rosie. Another preseason for him. These guys are
and Dunkley. And Dunkley might, depending on bye rounds, it could be Butters, Rosie, Dunkley, Bont, and then maybe like a Tom Green or someone to start off your team, depending on how things go.
There is no doubt in my mind. There is no way I'm starting my team next year without this guy. Like Tom Green. Yeah. Did you see him very good on the weekend? Did you see him on the weekend?
He's just consistent too. Like some Supercoach players will go up and down. They'll score a 90 and then they'll score a 150, whatever. But Tom Green is your consistent 110 plus for most of the weeks, and it's kind of what you want in a premium. I think as well, his
end of the season. Look at his end of the season. Freaking look at him. Look at him. He had 35 disposals at 60%, 5 tackles, 86% CBAs, 86% time on ground. I thought someone was telling me that this guy is washed, that he was cooked. Remember?
Yeah. It's going to be his inflated price compared to 2023 next year. That's going to make him a real pod. Because a lot of people are going to look at Tom Green at like 620K and be like, oh, I'm not touching Tom Green at 620K. Whereas, mate, you're going to regret not having him in your team. The game's getting improved by all these young guys, and Tom Green's joining that group. Like, my oldest midfielder is probably going to be either Bont or Petrarca starting, which is like a 26, 27-year-old. So, yeah, you're doing all right there, I reckon.
I agree, Cause. Good of you to join us, mate. You can't miss Tom Green. 100% agreed. My no over 30 rule is going to be. It will be Globes. But look, if I can stick to my guns, I reckon I'll be good.
Look, I think in the ruck's okay. But who over 30 are you going to start in the other position, really?
Correct.
Like is Tom Lynch from Richmond? Is Tom Lynch from Richmond 30? Like he's probably the only one. Like maybe.
That was Lockie Neal.
He'll be fairly cheap. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not picking Neal next year. He'll be 30. Who else is going to be 30 next year? Who else is a I mean, Clayton Oliver won't be 30. Clayton Oliver, he's only 27. He's a lock. If you don't have Clayton Oliver in your team next year, then you are off your peanuts, mate.
Maybe. I've said to myself, I'm taking Petrarca, so I don't know if I can do Petrarca and Oliver to start.
I will.
I've told myself I'm picking Petrarca, so it just depends on price for me.
Nah, I'm doing both. They'll both be good for the price, I think. I mean, what did Petrarca end up on? Petrarca, his final price was 616, which, his final average was 119.5, so he'll be a little expensive. But yeah, you're right, Globes. Tom Stewart, he is over 30 this next year. So
I don't know if we start Tom Stewart or not, to be honest. Who's the starting backline going to be? I think you got to have Sheasel and Dacos. I'm almost going six in the backline to start. I reckon you got to start Sicily, maybe Tom Stewart, and then who's the other two going to be? Because I look at this year's draft, and I think we're going to be okay with 2 defenders on the rookie bench, and then that's it. I don't see it as being a very deep draft in the backline. Doesn't look like there's a lot of premiums moving around teams, so we might not get those super cheap mid prices. So, yeah, it might be stack the backline like it was a couple of years ago, and just use the bench players as cash gen.
I love Tom Stewart so much, though. He's been in my team every year. I love this guy.
So we pick Joe. We pick Tom Stewart, Sicily, Dacos, Sheasel, and who's the next two?
How about do we still like Sinclair?
Yeah, potentially.
Do we still like this guy?
I'm just thinking, who did I have in my team to start this year?
Or is he gone? Do we not like Jack Sinclair? I mean, Jack Sinclair, his role is a bit all over the shop, but in that game against GWS, he had 62% CBAs. Like, that's a lot of CBAs.
Yeah.
And only one kick.
It's a tough one because you want the seagulls or you want the interceptors to start, I think, because they're the ones that really punish you if you don't have them in, especially to start with. Like, they're the ones that will just hurt you. Missing out on like a Sicily going 140 plus is just going to be a pain in the butt early.
Jen says both Track and Oliver are in your team next year for sure. I agree, Jen. That's
the
way
Dawson.
To go.
Jen saying get Dawson so he could be number 5. And then Correct. Who's number 6? That's kind of the question. Who's number 6?
I want to start Houston or Ryan next year. Well, Luke Ryan could, because Luke Ryan seems to have no competition now that you've got Hayden Young moving into the midfield. So, I mean, we look at his scoring. He's been mostly consistent.
Yeah.
He's got a pretty high floor. What was his floor this year? 83? So, 83 as your lowest score is pretty good. And most of the season, he's gotten over 100, right? So he's got how many sub hundreds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's not been many, and I think
9.
it might be the year that I actually have him in my team at some point.
Yeah, he's had 9 sub 100 games for Ryan, but yeah, I don't know. Look, there's a lot of 80s in this last month of football. 2 80s in a row, 114, 93.
Yeah.
Maybe. How old I mean,
Freo hadn't really. Freo really didn't have a great finish to the season.
27 will be 28 next year. Luke Ryan potentially could be an option.
Yeah.
I like Houston. I
think stacking. If we can afford to go very cheap in the ruck, like get our ruck line not finished but filled with good players who are going to be the number ones for under $1 million, I think we're going to have some real potential to stack other positions. Because if we go cheap in that forward line, we can spend $3 million in the back line. We can spend a little bit over that in the midfield and not have to worry about it.
I like Houston Causa. I like that. So, and I like the Silijish, but Globe's saying here that
I don't know.
In the back line.
Does Houston get affected, like, better or worse, if there ends up being some more tall defenders in that back line? Because if Radigalia comes, if a few of these other people come into that Port team, is that better or worse for Houston scoring? Let's assume that they're best 22. Because if we say they're not best 22, then it kind of defeats the purpose.
Doesn't that just make him the Tom Stewart of the group? Like, you got SDK. I mean,
does he? Is that the role that he is that the role that he plays? I'm not sure.
Okay. I mean, he's not playing accountable defense if they're adding more key defensive stocks. They're not going to give the ball to Radigalia and to BZT to kick the ball out. They're not good. They're not good ball users. They want the ball in this guy's hand. Look at that kick to handball ratio. They love the ball in this guy's hands a lot. So, I like the Dan Houston.
No, they love it on his feet a lot. They like it on his feet a lot. Yeah,
exactly. What causes it?
Houston's such a burn man.
I like it. Global says Dawson will be a midfielder only.
Potentially, we'll see.
I mean, how many CBAs did he get? Like, he got a lot of CBAs. He's 79, 92, 78.
He definitely punished people for not owning him early.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He started the year really hot. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe Dawson. Hopefully Dawson's available. If not, then it might be Ridley. If we get Mackay, then maybe Ridley could be of benefit. Globes,
We'll
I think
see.
we'll get Mackay because Zerk is leaving. I think we need to get Mackay because Zerk is leaving. Globes, if we don't
Well, it looks
get
like
Mackay,
it really
go.
looks like Sydney's calling, man. It's between Essendon and Sydney. Hawthorn have kind of said no, but yeah, Essendon and Sydney, and I know Sydney are desperate for someone, and they've got the money because Buddy was on decent money. Zach Reed was on decent money, like not Zach Reed, the other Reed was on some decent money. So yeah, they've got money to spend on a free agent. The real difference is then, like, as much as I don't like Essendon, right? The real difference is going to be Mackay goes to Sydney and he knows he's probably playing finals next year, right? Mackay goes to Essendon, he could be stuck not playing finals for 2, 3, 4 more years. So that's got to be one of the things that he's weighing up pretty heavily, I reckon.
Globes, if we don't get Mackay goes to Sydney. We're really banking on this guy who we haven't seen anything of. Absolutely is, and we're relying on this guy, Lewis Hayes, who was a great selection for us in the draft last year. So if we don't get Mackay, regardless, we're going to have to pump a lot of games into Lewis Hayes and Zach Reed. If we can get these two guys fit and healthy on the park, just playing some games, then it's going to be a really good bet. Because look, Zach Reed's 202 and Lewis Hayes is 199. And they're both great ball users. They're both great marks. They're both cool and calm under pressure. So if we can get these two guys right and on the field, then the back line in the future will be bright. But if they can, especially this guy,
I can see Essendon trying to get.
If Zach Reed continues to break down, though, then it's not going to work. Unfortunately, we need him to come right. Now you can talk, Jez.
Oh, sorry, mate. Thanks.
I was still talking. You're talking over me, bro.
I know. It was fun. I can really see Essendon going after a couple of mature ages, if not as a delisted free agent, some people from the VFL leagues to kind of shore things up for them. Because you don't need like established guns. You just need serviceable players, really.
Yeah, like this dude.
You're not asking someone to be like the backline general, because you've already got Ridley. So you just need someone who can do their job, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What thoughts on Goldie? Is he coming to Essendon?
It's a tricky one because it puts North in a weird position. He's been offered 1 year, and I think a 1 year rolling contract is fair because of the age, right?
Right.
But it really depends on who we've got in the pipeline, because I thought, oh yeah, we're going to get Jordan Sweet, whatever, because we need kind of someone to team up with Cherry. And I'm not convinced that Cherry is going to be the future. And that's why having Goldie would be good. But yeah, I mean, like, Brad Scott likes trying to poach old crappy North Melbourne players. We've got, who have we got? What's his face? Kane Turner trained with you guys last season, so maybe he'll be up for selection as well when he gets delisted.
I mean, you look at this guy, this Todd Goldstein. Look at a career right from day dot. He's averaged 92, 113, 109, 128, 109, 95, 101, 112, 112, 101, 93, 95 and a half. This has been his career average in Supercoach.
Yeah.
What a star.
I think he missed a couple of years at the start and then came in. I think he was drafted like 2008 or something and then started in like 2010. But like you say, when he came in, bang.
Straight 92. That was his worst for his whole career of playing a 92 average.
It's not bad, huh?
Massive kudos to this guy. If he comes to Essendon, even if he's not necessarily playing much, but if he can give us the experience, the leadership, taking Draper and Brian under his wing, and we need someone. We need a third ruck to be playing in the VFL. If we can get Todd Goldstein across, would be awesome.
It will probably be playing coaching VFL role. We'll see what happens.
Yes. Yeah, I'd totally be happy with that. I agree, Globes. The forward line is going to be the most intriguing, but at the same time, if there's a lot of forward players this year,
there's going to be no one there.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying maybe it might be less intriguing than you think. We might just be forced into selecting the very few people that are there. So everyone's going to have
Dylan
the same
Moore, F1 next year. Dylan Moore, F1 next year.
It's Darcy Cameron. Darcy Cameron, F1 next year.
All right. If we're forced to do that, I'll cry. I was sad having him at this point, like points this year. Yeah, I think Sydney get Grundy. Sydney have enough money for Grundy and Mackay. Like they have enough, so don't you worry about that.
How old is?
It won't be a money problem. Like 31.
29 for Grundy. He'll be 30 next year. Interesting.
I think 30. Yeah. So he'll be 30 next year. Yeah.
He's still young. You know what I mean? Like for Ruckman, he's still young. How because you look at Max Gawn, he's 31. He'll be 32 at the end of this year. You know, like the Ruckman can play for a long time. So as we know, so that's really impressive for Grundy. What about Hamling from Freo? Ooh, Hamling. Joel Hamling. Have a look at his output. Is he available? What's he play? He hardly plays. He's been stuck in the waffle.
Yeah, I think he got delisted. Yeah.
Delisted? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure him and another one got him and Nathan Wilson, I think, got delisted.
I don't remember enough about him, Globes. I'll have to look into him. I'm not sure. If he's been delisted, it's hard to find. I mean, he's been in the system for 8 years, 2 clubs, and gets delisted. What does that have to say about him? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, getting into I was going to say Port Adelaide, getting into Freo's backline is not an easy task as well. So you can't exactly take it with like, oh, he's a crappy player, right? They've got a fairly decent team, and yeah, I mean, Griffin Logue had to leave for more opportunities, and he's obviously better than this player. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I think a few teams might be asking Oscar McDonald what's he doing. What's Oscar McDonald doing next year?
Yeah. Bombers get Chol.
Williamstown have been doing pretty well, man.
Bro, Chol, the Chol Coast. Come on, man. Chol to leave Gold Coast after he requests a trade there. Really? Why?
Because he's not getting opportunities. He's stuck in the reserves. He won't play again. If Jed Walter goes to Gold Coast, Chol's not going to play an AFL game again. Barring Witts getting injured, Chol's not playing a game. Yeah. Who's he going? He's not going to push out King. He's not going to push out Jed Walter. Like, mate, he's got nobody.
So is he and Casbolt
Man's got no chance.
Are he and Casbolt done?
I think Casbolt's okay. I think Casbolt's okay, but I think Chol's cooked because Chol doesn't. At least Casbolt's been having the physicality to be able to kind of push off the number, like take a defender and actually do something. Whereas Chol's just too skinny, so like he's just not been playing at all.
Jeez, I don't know. Do we want Marby or Chol Globes? Are we that? Are we that desperate? Like, not Chol. Are we that?
Well, Sam Weedman hasn't worked. Sam Weedman hasn't worked, so you might as well get someone else.
What would we have to give up for him?
Nothing. Not much. So third round pick will do it probably.
Jeez. Marby or Chol, that's remarkable.
He's got 2 years left to run. So you give him a 4-year contract. Done.
On a 4-year
and the best thing about Chol, like Chol can kick goals, but he can also ruck as well. So if you need someone to do like the ruck duties, you've got someone there.
Yeah, but we've got Draper and Bryan. We've already got
Yeah, and then no one to play VFL. And then no one to do VFL, yeah?
We got Goldstein, bro.
Yeah, so what you do in the VFL, you match in the AFL. So you know which one's number one and which one's number two. So if Draper goes down, Goldie comes in. If Draper gets injured, Goldie comes in. And if Bryan gets injured, Chol replaces him. So the roles are still the same.
Pretty sure there's a VFL ruckman, but I can't tell you who it is off the top of my head.
I'm pretty sure you've got a VFL ruckman. But it would suck being a VFL ruckman because, like, the AFL player would just play every week and you'd just be like, oh, cool, thanks.
It's all right. We'll just have 2 Meter Peter. We'll name 2 Meter Peter and Sam Wiedemann, and one of them pinch hits in the ruck. It is what it is.
Has there been any other... Joe, has there been any other news this week? We've kind of covered a little bit of the AFL news. Has there been anything else?
There has been some.
Because we've got Griggs. Griggs joined his best mate Hardwick, so that's something.
Yes, that's right.
Has there been anything else?
There's been stuff during the week, but I can't remember what it is right now. I'm too busy thinking now.
Do you reckon Essendon throws like a second-round pick at a Kai Lohmann? He's someone who has shown some stuff that could be a good kind of not third tall, but like medium utility for you in the forward line.
Yeah, I medium agree. Look, as long as we're still fielding the likes of Guelphy and Snelling and stuff like that, like we're never gonna get anywhere. So I think if we can get like a Kyle Lohmann who actually has genuine talent and forward craft, who's still young as well. Kyle Lohmann is still. I mean, how old is Kyle Lohmann? I mean, he's
and we know Brad Scott's fantastic at developing kids. So, you know,
he's 20 years old. This kid is 20 years old, and look, I'm not against selecting young, high draft pick talents. You know what I mean? He's He's played 8 games.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one. Cal Toomey says this. Oh, so Cal Toomey, I think the Bombers are a chance, he says. If he decides to come back to Victoria, I think they'll be in amongst a group of clubs that will look at him if he does decide to come back.
Yeah.
So,
because you guys need help in the forward line. He could be a good pair up with Gresham next year. Kind of give you a little bit of a point of difference.
I don't like Gresham.
Well, you're going to offer him a contract, so you take what you get, I guess. You need a small forward. You don't have anyone of merit at least, so makes it tough.
Jade Gresham is 26. The fact that St Kilda haven't offered him a contract yet just speaks volumes. It's just screams.
Yeah, but he can play. He won't be on huge money if he comes to your club, which is a good thing. Like maybe you give him 3 or 4 years. He's not on big money. Give him like 450, 500K, and plays a role like in your team. As long as he can keep fit, he'll play a serviceable role for you.
Yeah, we'll see. Alex Rands to the Suns. Yes, that's right, Globe. That's and there's not going to be. We know that there's not going to be a Dusty Martin move either. Damien Hardwick himself, straight from the horse's mouth. Hardwick himself.
He can say that. He can say that, but it'll be the topic of conversation for the whole trade period. You know it will. Oh, Hardwick tricked us so they can get him for cheap, blah, 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 you know. Dusty's going to vacate on the Gold Coast, partying with Hardwick and Grigg for the next 3 weeks. You know how it is.
Mate, if we could get Sam de Koning, would be insane. But he's literally extended to join with the Cats for another 2 years. Why would de Koning leave the Cats? Nobody leaves the Cats with a right mind. Oh, no. I'd love to have him, but he's just not going to come. No one leaves the Cats willingly. I'll just say that. Only when they retire do they leave the Cats.
Yep.
What else is there? Former Blue among 5 more
And
Eagles.
not many people leave teams if they're best 22 players either.
SPS is gone. SPS has been delisted. Xavier O'Neill. Ooh.
Yeah, I saw that. And Supercoach favourite Greg Clark as well. Supercoach favourite Greg Clark.
Connor West. He was so good for us last year as a rookie on debut. He scored over 90 points. Oh, no. So that was Greg Clark. You're right. Sorry.
I think West had... Yeah. I think Connor West had off-field problems. They just said, nah, see you later, mate.
Yeah. Massive changes coming here for the West Coast Eagles. What else is there? I mean, we're almost
have to clear out the players. I think that almost makes 10 delisted players, right? Hearn and then Shuey and a couple of others. I think that almost makes like 9 or 10.
Yeah, they've made a lot.
I don't know how. If this was Kane Corns, Kane Corns will say, I don't know how they're going to fill the team next year. That's always the North Melbourne talk, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
We delist a few players. Oh, they're not going to be able to fill the team, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, true. Okay. Do you want to talk about AFLW a little bit?
Sure. Let's get into it. Has there been any rookies this week, Joe? Any rookies that are going to get announced that we can potentially downgrade to? Because I know there's one from Essendon that I think they've just put out an article saying, hey, she's coming back. Huntington from Essendon, they've come out and said, yeah, she's going to play like 600 days after from injury or something.
It's GWS.
No, I think there's an Essendon. Is it?
It's GWS, mate.
All right. I'm just switching over to the computer. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
No worries. We'll see you in a little bit. Isabel Huntington will make her return to AFLW football. She's a 300K forward playing for the Giants. So that is someone, if you want to downgrade in your forward line on your bench, Isabel Huntington is your girl. I probably should do that instead of Poppy Kelly now that I'm seeing her. But the only reason why I picked Poppy Kelly was because she was actually getting some ruck time. If we just do the little switcheroo and come here to AFLW, come here to play a summary, and I type in Poppy Kelly, we'll see that she's actually had some CBAs in the last couple of weeks, but she's been really bad. I haven't found anyone good, but now that we've got this news about how do I change her out there without I guess I have to reverse all my trades, unfortunately. So Hyde can become Huntington now that we know that she's going to be playing. So we got Huntington to come in. Hopefully she can make us some good money. I'm trading out Hatchard because I'm sick and tired of not getting great scores out of her price point. And I think Charlie Rowbottom is a top 5 mid. And then Scanlon can get stuffed because she's been really bad for me. I'm going to get Pound. And with that, I confirm my trades. And we're done. Yes, hello. So I've actually gone and I've changed from Poppy Kelly to Huntington, who we know isn't a play this week. So
we're not like Kelly anymore.
Well, I didn't have anyone. I didn't think there was anyone else that was any good. But Huntington, though, is
she good?
I think she's very good. I think they had this will return from an ACL, moving clubs in cities, rediscovering her love for the game. I mean, Jen.
Does it say where she's going to play? Does it say where she's going to play?
Look, I'm just doing it because Jen's told me.
Well, as long as it's Jen and not Jono Coleman, you'll be right.
Jen said it to me. All right, well, let's have a look and see where's she gonna play. Giants told Huntington she would make her long-awaited during a project team meeting. Okay, where does she play? When the results change, she will make a comeback. Great, in Blacktown, again in front of friends and family. Oh, you know she's in it to win it now.
You can play 10 minutes of game time in front of friends and family. Tell you what.
It was during an AFLW game when she ruptured her ACL in her right knee. For the supremely talented and universally respected 24-year-old. Oh, I like these. I like these adjectives. She's in a new club, new city, new coach, new field, new teammates, new experiences. Good to know. Good to know. Everything is different. But is she any good? Oh, she was a number 1 pick in 2017.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if Supercoach will like me if I press reverse trade and try and bring another player in. Do I dare do it? Tell me, Jen. Do I change him or do I keep Kelly? Let me know.
Where does she play?
Exactly. Well, we'll find out in like 10 minutes. Well, we'll find out in a couple of minutes when the teams are announced. So, yeah, if she's named in the middle, hey, mate, it's just tough coming off ACLs.
They just keep talking to her about a person, footy player, star, legend, everything apart from where she playing. You know what? Huntington. Let's see what DFS Australia has to say.
It's all middle.
Centre half back, full forward pocket. Centre half back, centre half back, centre half forward, full back. All right, so she's either full forward or full back, centre half back.
It's going to be an interesting one.
Who knows? NBL Supercoach Globes. You might find this hard to believe, but I am doing NBL Supercoach.
Really?
I've got no idea what I'm doing there. This is. I'm not going to do any videos on it because I literally have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm doing this. But
where's Josh Giddey? I want Josh Giddey.
He doesn't play NBL. This is what my team looks like. Globes. Let me know how shit it is or not shit. 14 days though, lots of time for you to get back to me. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing here. But yes, that's what I'm doing for NBL Supercoach. Hippo, Huntington or Heathering or whatever her name is, who would you get? So, I mean, Huntington's got a really low. No, sorry, Heathering. I think in the ruck. In the ruck.
That's an interesting one.
Look, I don't mind her.
Teams are out. Let's have a look where she's named. Well, teams should be out. Hopefully.
If I go to. All right, we'll go to matches fixtures. Oh no, that's not how it did it. Last time the AFLW website was not beneficial at all.
No, the teams are up.
Yeah, but it was normally in an article.
No, but I mean, like, the teams are up just on like matches. You just go to matches and you can go to teams and you can look at the teams.
All right, there we go. Very well. Let's have a see. All right, we'll start with the Cats and North lineups.
Who's your prediction here? Yeah, okay, fair enough. No late changes, but
like it doesn't say who's in and who's out. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, where's GWS? Where's GWS? GWS there. Now, according to Causa, she's a key forward taking Stanton role, the Irish lad. So if she's playing full forward, what was her name again? Huntington. Half forward, she's named. So, look, Huntington is a forward rookie, Hippo, whereas Heathering is a ruck rookie. I'm probably... Huh?
Is Heathering named?
Let's see, for Port Adelaide. She plays for Port. Let's go to Port.
No, I don't think she is.
Where's Port? Port is here. Let's go to lineups.
I couldn't see her there. I think Scholes has got it again.
Yeah, there's no wait, no. She's not here.
Yeah.
She's not here. So you're forced into trading out.
Named on the ball though. Good old Hannah Priest named as a follower. Let's go.
Yeah, of course. She's a gun. Hannah Priest is a gun. But yeah, there you go, Hippo. If Heathering's not here. So if Heathering's not here, then you know you're going for Huntington then.
Yep, pretty much.
So that's a rip. That's a rip. Hey, no, it's not a rip. It means you get more money out of Fleur Davies, who will continue to make us more money. So it's fine.
You know who got dropped? Friend.
Yeah, of course. Friend is dropped. All right.
She got a score of a 4 and a 16, and see you later.
Yeah. All right. Let's have a look at the rest of the games.
I wonder if the men's games are up. Oh, they are. The men's games are up, Joe, as well.
Is Lister? Yeah. Is Lister in? Asks Causa. Let's have a look. GWS lineups. Yes. Named on the ball? Yo, Lister is named on the ball, isn't she?
Yeah, she's a defender.
Yo, a defender.
I can't afford it. I can't afford it. That's right.
Yo, Hippo. Lister named on the ball. What does that mean? Has she ever done that?
Where did she play last week?
Let's have a look at Lister.
She only scored 55.
Was it on the ball, though? She was on the ball.
Yeah.
11 tackles.
89% CBAs, and she only scored a 55. I'd rather fill up my
three frees again. 3 frees against. So that's minus 9 points there. So it would have been 64. Yo, maybe. That's pretty interesting. Hetherington is who I meant. Oh, Hetherington. She plays for Freo. Oh, all right. And we're going to go to the Freo game then. Where's Freo? Here it is. Freo. Lineups. She's named half forward, Hippo. Hetherington is playing half forward. So.
Mitch Cleary saying Dylan Stevens has requested a trade to North Melbourne now. So that's cool.
Hetherington, 24, 27, 32. Yo, Hetherington's scoring his ass. I reckon back in.
Perry's coming back.
Yeah. Nah, not Hetherington. The tip for the NBL team is Williams is out injured and will be out for a long time. Thank you, Jen. I will give me a suggestion later. All right, we'll go through them. Okay, anything of importance in any of these women's teams that we care about?
Let's just do the men's teams first, and we'll check.
Ladies, Bowers is in. Get out of here. You're screwed. If you don't have Bowers, you're screwed. All right.
Oh, thanks, Joe. If you don't have Bowers, you're dead. No Bowers for Big J.
All right, we'll start with the Friday night teams. Big game. Carlton against Melbourne. Friday night. Jack Martin suspended. We all knew. Harry Mackay, the Spud, injured. We all knew. Kennedy is in. There is no Silvani. Oh, my God. If I was Silvani, I would request a trade. God damn it.
Didn't he just sign?
Bro, how could you not play Silvani? Oh, well. Matthew Kennedy's a good player, though. I like Matthew Kennedy. Meanwhile, for Melbourne, we all know about Brayshaw. We all know about Van Rooyen. Hibbard's been dropped. Congratulations on your career. You're retired. You're not going to play again. Tomlinson's in. Yeah. Spargo is in. And James Jordan is in. Now these are three good ins. I'll have you know.
Well,
Actually,
they're good because they're 3 players who are actually pretty much. There's other clubs looking at them as trade bait. So I know Tomlinson's got a few clubs looking at him, including North Melbourne. Charlie Spargo's got a few clubs looking at him, including North Melbourne. And then James Jordan has a few clubs looking at him, not North Melbourne. So
Essendon, we're looking at him.
If you've got a final game for a lot of these players, you say, hey, these guys did really well in this finals game. Give us all the picks.
Yeah, and look at this, man. Look at this. First emergency Brodie Grundy. What, like, taking the P155 right here, Simon Goodwin. Unbelievable.
They need someone more offensive because I think if Kennedy's in, he's going to dominate that midfield. He's going to do really well. So they almost need someone better.
Kennedy's great because Kennedy can play that. He can play a high half forward. He can push forward and kick a mark and kick a goal. So he's a really good in. You know, for Jack Martin, he's a very good swap for Martin. I think.
I think as well. I wonder if Petrarca being half forward might push him a little bit more into the super coach next year, half forward. We'll see what happens.
Look at that. Globe saying that Silvani even passed the fitness test as well, and yet still wasn't named. Oh, boy. Yo, John, your dad at St. Kilda, man. What are you doing? Carlton don't respect you. That's it. He's done. But having said that, mate, I'm backing Carlton to win this.
Yeah, I think they will. I think it's going to be like, I want Melbourne to win, though.
I know you do, but I mean, Carlton beat Melbourne not long ago, and when Carlton did that, they didn't have Walsh, they didn't have Chera, they got those guys back in, they've got Kennedy in. Meanwhile, they didn't have Oliver last time. They got him, but they're losing Brayshaw now.
I think JVR being out hurts them quite a lot because they need their forward line was a big trouble in the previous game, and now they've lost probably their best key forward now. So Tom McDonald's really got to step up because there was some shocking footage of him in the last game just falling over and doing dodgy stuff, and Petty's not even there to cover the position. So that forward line does not look very very strong compared to Wiedering and Kemp and Newman and McGovern. Like, they've got 4 guys there that can stop Tom McDonald. You know, they're going to have to run the ball through to the forward 50 instead of bombing it long.
Which
Gorn loves
can't.
bombing it long. That's all Gorn does.
Yeah. I mean, and speaking of Gorn, he's playing with a broken toe.
Yeah. Maybe he can't kick this game, so they'll actually win.
So,
Did you see the footage this week? Did you see the footage of every time Max Gorn got the ball, he just kicked it forward?
Yeah.
It's pretty sad. Like, you're turning into that now. Come on,
So,
man.
this back line is much too good. We already know Melbourne struggle to kick a winning score. Against this back line, it's just simply not going to happen. Yeah. So, it's going to be Carlton, man. It's going to be Carlton. The Baggers are going to do it again.
Yeah, probably.
Anyone else think otherwise? The 10 people watching this, it's like as much as you'd think Melbourne, top 4, some sustained periods of great football. It's hard to see how they're going to come up and beat the Blues, to be honest, who are in ripping hot form. They were challenged last week by the Swans. There was a lot of momentum swings, but in finals, it doesn't matter how you win. The most important thing is just winning. So I don't know, man. I really hope. Let's see. What's the global? I think Tomlinson is looking for a new deal. I think every player who doesn't have a deal is looking for a new deal, to be honest, Globes. But you reckon the D's bounce back? Oh, we've got a believer. We've got a D-lever, should I say.
Global, let's go, mate.
Global believes in the D's. In D's nuts, perhaps. No, I'm just joking, Globes. I'm just joking. But yeah, I don't know. I think overwhelmingly, Carlton win this by I'm saying Carlton win this by 26 points.
Yeah. Melbourne by 8.
Are you thinking with your head or your heart right now, Jay?
Well, I mean, it's a prediction, so I can think with whatever I want.
Yeah, I know. I'm asking which
think
one.
they'll win. I think they'll
I
win,
thought
but
you
it'll
just
be
said
close.
Carlton would win.
No, sorry. Melbourne by 8. Sorry,
Melbourne by
I
8.
Oh. Melbourne by 8.
All right. So we're torn here. You got Melbourne by 8. I'm going Carlton by like 26, maybe 20. I'll say Carlton by 20. Experience is worth more than people know. That's true. That's true, Globes. But it didn't help them last week.
If you look at Melbourne's team now compared to when they won the grand final, their forward line looks so much worse. Outside of Grundy and Gawn and all that stuff. Yes, there's been a little bit more development, but it's that forward line that just hurts them. Their back line is fantastic. Cool. But that forward line, the ball's not, Carlton's back line's got better, and Melbourne's forward line, I don't think they can compete. A lot goes on Cozzy Pickett, and I think him as a follower, there's some damning footage of him just grabbing the ball and bombing it long. If he goes accurately, maybe, but yeah, it's going to be tough. I want Melbourne to win. Don't get me wrong, but you got to kind of look at it objectively sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
predictions can be wrong. I can predict who I want. Like, if they lose, they lose. So
Brayshaw's got a lot of experience, Globes. Like, if Brayshaw was playing against Collingwood, I reckon Melbourne get the win. He is really important for him. He is body over the ball. He is a heart and soul player, and he's also really improved his ball use. He makes good decisions. Him out is huge. It's actually really bad. Van Rooyen, he didn't tear the world apart, but he plays a really important role structurally for the team, and he also can make his way up the ground and take a few contested marks. So I don't know, man. I reckon Van Rooyen's also pretty big out. So look, these guys are good. They're good players. Don't get me wrong, but you look at this team. You look at this team in totality. I just think Carlton's backline can absolutely match and beat Melbourne's forward line. I think the midfield battle will be tight, but having said that, as long as Carlton break even there, I can't see them losing this.
Why is Sam Doherty playing half forward?
They've got too many good players, mate. They've got too many good players.
Like someone screwed up there if Sam Doherty playing forward. But maybe he has been the last couple of weeks. I haven't noticed.
No Mackay for the Blues. They're better that way, Globes. They're better without him.
Really are. They're so much better without him in the team.
Fritsch is a weapon. Bro, Fritsch almost missed his
foot. Fritsch can't kick straight, mate.
He almost missed his foot, mate. That is dangerous. I don't know. He better be back this week, to proper form, because last week he was bad. He was bad.
Going back to going back to the AFLW for a second there, Poppy Kelly's not actually been named. She's on the bench. So I got to trade her out for someone else anyway.
Freddie Supercoach, how's it going, Freddie? Just got back from camp and saw the loss to Collingwood and Maynard's non-suspension. You just saw it, did you? Oh, boy. It's, Maynard non-suspension, mate. So he gets off. They succeed. They're going to win the flag. Well done. And I'm sorry, but you're going to lose this game as well, Freddie. I can't see you winning this game.
Yeah.
Causa. Heard a theory that Mackay faked a concussion as he didn't even hit the ground or into anyone, and also saw they were going to win.
Never know.
Conspiracy theory? Interesting. I don't know. Why would I do that, though? What's the benefit to him? What? He's just super lazy. I don't want to play football?
Yeah.
I don't know. Hippo, how do we know who the sub is in AFLW Fantasy?
You don't. Not for a while.
There you go. You heard it here. Thanks for the question, Hippo. All right. So we're torn. I'm going Carlton. You're going Melbourne.
Yeah.
No worries. This game, though, another juicy game. Charlie Dixon is in.
Yeah.
Charlie Dixon is in. Finlayson omitted. Dylan Williams omitted. Oh my goodness. Cogs is in. O'Halloran was brought in for Cogs, so Cogs back makes sense. And Haynes was the sub.
Yeah, because he's off to North Melbourne.
Oh boy, Charlie Dixon. He hasn't played in a while.
He's going to carry them to the promised land, and I'm going to be so sad.
You're predicting a Port win, are you?
I don't want Port to win because North have their first round pick, but yeah, they're going to win. It's going to be a tough game. But Port at home are very tough, and they don't seem to have as many injuries as what maybe we would have thought previous to this from their previous game. So, yeah.
I don't know. I reckon GWS have no injuries, I'm pretty sure, at this point.
Yeah.
Is this like a fully stacked? This is like a fully stacked
home. Port at home, another kettle of fish already. You know, they're a very strong team.
Yeah, but GWS don't care where they play. They have played and won in an AFL record 11 different venues this year. 11. Yep. Anytime, any place, free smoke is what Tom Green said after the game. So if there's any team to travel to Adelaide Oval and win, it's the Giants. Because if we look back a few weeks ago, by club, the Giants actually went to Adelaide Oval and got the job done against Adelaide, who everyone thought were the red-hot favourites. Adelaide at home, they don't lose there. They're really good. The Giants went over and did a number on them.
Yep, no, that's very true.
So if there is a team that can win it at Adelaide Oval and get the job done, it is this incredible. I want to see, how did they go? They won the clearances, stoppage clearances. That's their strength. Contested possessions, they actually lost it, and yet they still managed to get the job. They got, I don't know. I'm a big believer in the Giants. They're my second favorite team, and I reckon there's a big sound going to Adelaide.
Well,
I'm backing the Giants.
I want them to win.
Got Cogs back. Cogs is back, bro. He's really good.
He's a vital cog to their lineup.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm going the Giants. I'm going Gouis. I'm backing in Gouis to get the job. $2.30, mate. I'm not gonna say gamble. I'm not gonna say bet. I'm just gonna do this. Just hover right there and say these guys don't know crap. We're gonna win. The Giants are gonna win. I believe in them. Tell me otherwise in the chat. 11 people. Tell me otherwise. How did the Port win this game? What magic Adelaide air gives him stimulants and makes him better?
Done.
The juice. Ben, Priest or Darcy in AFLW Fantasy? Really
I actually have a question about AFLW Fantasy as well, Joe. So if you want to pull up some AFLW Fantasy teams, we can have a look at some players before the game starts this week.
Sure. Ben, I like Priest.
We're doing something a bit different for the fans later on as well. By the end of the show, we're going to show off our do our quick recap of Supercoach for this year. So yeah, if you guys can stick around for that, we'll show you how the teams went. Yeah, all that fun stuff.
Oh, here we go. This is how they do it well. They do it well. They just make one article that has all the ins and outs. But they don't. But in the men's, you can literally click on each individual game and see. Whereas in here, you can't do that. If you want to see the ins and outs, you have to come to this article. So here it has the Western Bulldogs have swung the axe, right? Don't think anyone has those people.
No.
Heidi Woodley. Is she a rookie? Let's see. Woodley. What was your question, by the way?
I'll show you.
Not a rookie.
So
Poppy Kelly's been dropped, so you have to change her.
I had these players to choose from. These what? Eight players to choose from, who are all 300k. I need some help with picking one of them. I know G Hill has been named on halfback. She's played a little bit, but obviously not scored that much. But I think that's about it out of the ones that I've seen. Can we try and figure out? Maybe some people in the chat can give me an idea. It's not doing much. They're not meant to do much, but making some money is better than no money. So who should I play? Who should I not play out of this list here, guys?
I mean, there's Huntington.
That's true. We do it.
That's
we
an
do
extra
it
person.
for the fun.
That's another person you can get in. Huntington is someone that you can put in. But I did have a look, and I did see that there was, as you said, Hill. If we pull up Hill,
she's named in the back line.
Yeah. Okay. Is it right if I
Yeah, go for it. And Maddie Boyd as well. Maddie Boyd's named basically in the same position as well. So yeah.
All right. So this is Grace Hill, who you're talking about. So there's Grace Hill, 87 TOG last week, 72 TOG the week before. Only the 9 fantasy points in the previous week, and that was courtesy of her having absolutely no kicks and 4 handballs. So that was pretty bad for a 72% time on ground game in what was a close one. If you look, it wasn't a demolition. It was actually a close game. So I don't know why she had absolutely none of it. Neither did Cambridge McCormick, for that matter. So it's not like she was alone in that department, but it could have been an off week. The following week, she did a lot better. You can see she has a lot more forward mid time. So she probably worked her way up the ground a lot more. Started off at centre half back and then would run up the ground. She got 2 tackles. She actually had 1% of ruck contests, which is pretty funny. So she's clearly fairly versatile as a player. 11 disposals. I flirted with the idea of perhaps adding Grace Hill into my forward line as my downgrade in the forward line.
Yeah.
She was pretty good. I really
like that Huntington pick now after all our talk before. It probably won't work out, but could be a sneaky one.
I mean, she's a 300k player who's going to play half forward. If she's playing high half forward, it could mean that she gets on the end of the thing.
How tall is she, Joe? Check for me how tall Huntington is.
Okay. Isabel is 1.75 meters.
All right, let's do it.
It's not too bad. She's 24 years old, mature age player. What else can Wikipedia have to tell us? Apart from
$0 left in my team.
Remarkable. So she's had quite a few injury strains.
Yeah.
She was a rising star in 2020 as she switched to the Bulldogs back line. So that's where she played her best, playing in the back line. And then in 2021, she had a forward switch. I don't like this forward switch business, though. Oh, Huntington is a cousin of AFL player Will Setter Goat. It's got to be. She's cousins with the Setter Goat.
She's in. That's it.
She's in my team. I don't give a crap. She is in my team.
Where's all the haters? Setter Toes. She's cousin of
Setter Goat. She is in. I don't give a crap. Huntington is in. Hippo, I need help. Do I grab Lister? Mate, that's $1 million question. If we go to Lister, she's named on the ball. She was named on the ball last week. When I messaged you, I said that's sneaky. She's never done it before. If she can maintain that role, she could do really well. I reckon because it was her first time playing on the ball, maybe it took her a bit of time to get you. Hunting Goats. Let's go, Hippo. I love it. Hunting Goats. We're riding the hunting goat to victory, bruv. It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah, I've picked it.
Hunting goat. Let's go. I love it. That's sick. Huntington and Lister for Scanlon and Davidson. Look, I reckon go with Lister. I know it might seem really left field, but she's never had a CBA in her life before last week. And she's named on the ball again. I reckon she had one game, her first game. She had to learn the role. It was entirely new for her. I reckon there's upside. She had 3 frees against as well. So she's lost out on 9 points. That should have been 64 for a first ever hit out in the middle. I reckon there's upside. Hippo. Trust the cojones. Believe in it. 11 tackles, bruv. 11 tackles. That's really good. Really good. If she can get a bit more of the ball to supplement those tackles, mate, I reckon Lister could be good. I reckon. Huntington and Lister for Scanlon and Davison. Who's Davison? Who is Davison? Oh, yeah. Get rid of her. Hippo. What is she doing here?
Yeah, if that's your difference, then 100%.
Yeah. Agreed. You got to do it, mate. You got to do it.
Maybe
I'm going hunting goats. Let's go hunting goat in my forward line.
I've got
nice. So that's really good. Maybe Fitzpatrick can become someone else later.
She ended up in the toilet for me, Fitzpatrick. As much as I wanted her on the field, I couldn't really do much else. And
she's not even named. She's not even named, is she?
Oh, maybe not.
Where is she? Meanwhile, has Huntington and
no, you got to find Carlton.
Yeah. Also again, Annalise Lister, Sydney. Oh wait, scroll up.
I think so.
No. Yeah. Brisbane will be without Smith, hamstring, Jennifer Dunn, Caitlin. No one knows.
Typical.
Collingwood will still be without Schleicher and Butler.
Typical. Carlton, the team that gets. Mate, she was the only one that kicked a goal in the whole game last week, and you get rid of her.
Evie Gooch. Keep your eye on this one. She could be in our trade plans next week. Hannah Stewart. All right. Let's see. Geelong in Fuller, out McDonald. North Melbourne, no changes. All right. Good to know.
Just two.
Giants. Lister's in. Huntington's in.
Did you say out McDonald? That's the wrong McDonald, right? Is that the McDonald that
This is the defender McDonald, I'm pretty sure.
That's the defender one, yeah.
The defender Geelong.
Not the good one in the middle.
No, it's where is she? This one.
Yeah.
Abby McDonald. She's gone. Giants, yeah, we know that. Richmond, Kelly's been dropped. So you can't get Kelly in, sorry.
Yeah.
Molly Eastman. Molly Eastman is in. Now that is an interest. Now she's moved actually. If you guys aren't aware, Eastman was initially last year. She was with the Swans, so she could be, and she was a really good defender for the Swans last year. So she could be someone that there aren't a lot of great defenders, right, with the scoring. She could be one. She could be that.
Hopefully she doesn't affect Sheeran too much, but I don't know if you can with how poorly she's been doing anyway.
Yeah. Now, Molly Eastman, I might end up doing like a Smith to an Eastman at some point. Eastman's good. Eastman's good. But it's a different team. We'll see how she plays there.
Joe,
see.
Did you see Alex Rance is coming back from retirement?
No, he's not.
He is. Alex Rance confirmed will join Richmond. We'll rejoin Hardwick at Gold Coast.
Hey, congratulations!
That's why his training school thing closed down. So all those young kids, they all got shat on, so he can go play AFL again.
Poor kids. No, they got saved. They got saved from being brainwashed by that diving flog. All right, now we got Adelaide against Essendon. Ooh, Allen is out. I'm not sure who owns her. All right, good. Mia Bush has not been dropped. Woof, I was worried about that. I was worried Mia Bush would be dropped because she's been shite. But no, she's still in. Good stuff. Too good. She is too good. 50th game. Well done. And Jessica, wow. Wushner. Don't know how to say that. I've told you, Ben, I like Priest. I like the Priest. Melbourne, Paxman is back. For anyone crazy enough to want it. Wilson has been dropped. Don't think anyone owns any Bulldogs player, let's be real.
Yeah.
And then for Freo, O'Sullivan is out. And Stannett, there you go. For anyone still with money, Stannett, milestone game, 50th. Tamara Smith. So she was someone who was in my trade plans last week before Lucy Wales was named, but then I pulled out. Good thing I didn't. And Breed has been dropped. For St Kilda, this is a Sunday game, so these are extended lists. However, Friend has been dropped.
Yep. See you later, mate.
Not friends anymore.
Glad I jumped off that one as quickly as I could.
Frenemies now. Bianca Jacobson, 50th game. Congratulations. For Port, Maloney, Pope, character. So you can't have 4 ins for 1 out, clearly. So yeah, take this with a grain of salt. West Coast, Emma Gooch, keep an eye on her. She's someone who could do really well for us. Could be a trade-in option. And she's not expensive. So she's coming off. I think she had an injury as well, so she's discounted compared to last year. 478k. She's someone who's pretty good, I think. I already said Priest for this one, Ben. Yeah. Ortlep is in. Fitzgerald is in. Finn is in. However, out. No, it could be Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald could be an out. However, nothing has been confirmed there, so we'll see about that. For Collingwood, Barnett injury, no one knows. Britt Benici, 50th game. Congratulations to her. For those who hold on to Benici, no one out for Gold Coast. Brisbane Smith is out. Phoebe Monahan, congratulations. For Sydney, a lot of changes. Zaghetti, Sargent was. Oh, Malloy, 50th game for Malloy. That's going to be pretty big. But someone else is pretty big is Ham. Montana Ham. She was really good last year. She's only a midfielder, isn't she? Montana Ham. Yeah, she was really good last year, and you can see her price is 881. So keep an eye out on her as well. She could do really well for us moving forward. I don't know who's going to downgrade to her. It would have to be one of those premiums really letting you down to downgrade to her, but she's also a really good player. And congratulations to Chloe Malloy for 50th games.
Yeah, 100%.
And those were the changes for the women.
Yep.
Should I be worried about Davey getting the single tag?
Well, as long as she doesn't get the double tag, you should be fine.
Davey getting the tag. I don't know. Benici's playing. You never know. If Benici does well, then it could take Single away from her, but I've got Single in my team. I want Single to do well. I want Single to just strangle people and just get a whole bunch of tackles to get me points. Come on, Lucy. I believe in you. It's Lucy versus Davey, mate. It's me v Hippo. Come on, Lucy. You got to do it for me. Nah, I don't know.
Well, considering most people brought in Davey into their team, yeah, it's a bit of a hard one. Like round one, a lot of people brought Davey in.
Double tag, man. I wonder when we're gonna see a double tag at AFL women's. That would be pretty crazy.
I think it happens a lot with defenders and forwards, but like not just in where else. Joe,
Yes.
we've talked about AFLW. We've talked about the men's game. Do we want to do a little bit of Supercoach before we kick people out?
Yeah, sure.
Might do our team reviews for this year in Supercoach.
Yeah.
Just wait one sec. Cool.
Alrighty. Here we go. It's been a while coming, but I have been overseas. Here we are. This is my review of how I did this year. It was a long journey to come back and end up finishing at ranked 1,902. Yeah, it was a long haul to get in. It was off the back of a great final round score. Finished in the top 1%, something that I didn't think was going to be possible considering how far back I was. It was a long season. Obviously, we've had an extra round. And now that I've been content creating, it's obviously meant that I've had to be more engaged than ever before. This was how the final round team did. Obviously, it had Eddie Ford on the field here, who managed to pump out a 95, which was really good. I was really pleased with this, and I ended up losing some points with Mills. Obviously, Dacos had to be on the bench because of his injury, and we had no trades left. So that was part of the problem, and all this money, and couldn't do anything with it. Also had a bad captain, a Dawson 111. Really could have been anyone in this midfield apart from even Mills. If Mills was there, my lowest midfield score would have been a 130, 122. Would have been my lowest score for the midfield, and that would have been the best captain, even a better captain than Dawson. So 116 Sinclair, 124 Stewart, 111. So again, this is a very good backline in the end. Will Day with an 80 point. I was really who you traded out. Really, Tim Taranto was the biggest disappointment in the end, who just absolutely fell off a cliff, really. He was doing so well all year long, and then come the end of the season, he just he really petered out. You know, he did not crack the ton at all in the last 6 weeks of the season. So other than that, I learned a lot from this season. Did I do some mistakes? Yes, obviously I made some mistakes. A lot of some bad trades, and especially when it came to, look how far back I was. I was ranked 74,000 at the start of the season to end up clawing back to get to in the top 2,000. I was really happy with that, persisting and, didn't drop my bundle, just continued to go, and I burned through a lot of boosts really early on, which I think in hindsight was probably not the most ideal. Probably should have kept one during the buys, especially the tough buy, which was round 15. Trading out Laird a week, to get Cornelio a week too late was probably something that I shouldn't have done. And then I traded out Cornelio to trade him back in. That was probably the biggest problem, my biggest issue, I think. And I've sort of learned from this experience that I'm never going to start someone that expensive ever again. He scored a 50, and I had him as my captain that week as well, just to add insult to injury. So he started the year over 700,000. He ended up the year around 622.5. I'm never going to do that again. And that's probably the biggest thing I've taken away from it. I decided to be safe and start with Wits. Unfortunately, he was a laid out, and by that point, things were out of my hands as English was already playing. So I went with the Grundy, and then obviously had to trade Grundy out. And then so there he goes. Grundy was out. And I was hoping to have all of, Marshall, English, Gorn. I was hoping to have all of them, and in the end, didn't have any of them. I was stuck with Marshall for the rest of the year, and I was sort of banked in Briggs, and I was hoping, and I thought Briggs was a sensational player for me. Gorn, he was and Drury was a dead rookie for me as well. Shouldn't go early on Drew. Shouldn't go early on any rookies. I went early on him because I needed the cash. And I thought he did really well in the first week. But from that point on, he sort of went. That's why you don't trade in rookies early, right? So Look, I think I had a bit of bad luck during the course of the season with some injuries to players and late outs and bad captaincy, like I did with Laird and in week 1. But overall, I'm pretty positive about the season. I've learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. This was my second year of serious super coaching, and I'm looking forward to going into next year. I've got a new rule. I'm not going to have anyone over the age of 30. Unless, of course, they're in the ruck, then perhaps that's a different story because the rucks are just built different. So I'm going in with definitely not going to go mid-price madness like I did during the course, like how I started this year. I think I'm going to be a lot more guns and rookies for me next year. I'm thinking that, things like players like Nazaya, players like Fife, Liam Jones, Tanner Bruin, and you can just see them. All of the mid-prices. Warple was out there. Jones was out there. Cogs, I traded out, traded back in. Like you can just see all of these mid prices that I just had to trade out one after the other. I'm looking forward to starting the year next year with in a different strategy, different mode, and I really appreciate that, Hippo. It's a beautiful. Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. Hopefully, we have a good bounce back year next year. And definitely it will be here documented for all of you guys to join along.
Yeah, I think as well from following along with your team, like Setterfield was the one that lasted the longest, maybe Hopper as well, and then you probably kept them a little bit too long. So,
Probably.
I mean, if that's how long players are running, there's not much cash gen in them, is there?
No. I mean, Doherty was someone that I held on to, and then had to trade him out. But when he got injured, he became a forced trade. Same thing with Ridley, who I held on to, believing that he was going to bounce back. And then he got concussed. Setterfield and Hopper both went out in that game. Both went out in the same week for me because they were both injured. So I got Merritt and Laird. That was a really successful week for me. I thought round 10 was probably the highlight of my season. Flipping these two mid prices into Merritt and Laird, who I ended up keeping for the rest of the year. So that was probably the highlight of my season. And I had Merritt as captain that week, who then went bananas against Richmond at the Dreamtime game. So there was definitely some highs. Absolutely, there was some highs in this season. It wasn't all just battling away, and it was a good season overall. I learned a lot about myself, and I'm looking forward to next year hit the ground running and hopefully have a much better team. The last 2 seasons I've played, despite putting in a bunch of research, I've ended up having some less than ideal starts, but I'm thinking that's it. I'm thinking the time is coming for the luck to change, and I'm looking forward to starting next year.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Well, I might do my team then. We'll have a quick look.
Cheeky boy, Globes. Cheeky boy. Who's going to come first? Not you, is it? Nah. We're all in it together. Looking forward to it. Your turn, Jez.
All right. Showing up my team. So it was an interesting year. Same with Joe. I started out really poorly, but I just didn't end up kind of getting to the position that I would have loved. I was top 10,000 for a while there, and then injuries came, and I just didn't have the trades or the cover. Throughout the season, there was a lot of trading players out and trading players back in, and then out again, and then, Will, Dave, Steele, a few of these other guys didn't work out. I didn't have the cover like Joe had in Himmelberg to cover the positions who, as we saw in round 24, popped out that 120. So let's check out the finished team, and then we'll kind of go through the trades and where I thought maybe things went wrong. Let's load. So this is the final team. I only managed to score 2487. So that kind of really showed where the team was at. I felt like maybe I could have done a lot better. The forward line really kind of let me down in a lot of ways. I ran out of trades when Jack Siebel, decided to retire, but also kind of floundered a little bit. So we see there Sinclair, Stewart, Dawson, Sheasel, Doherty. Doherty wasn't too bad, but it ended up being a donut the last couple of rounds, or I think maybe just round 24 from memory. I think he got injured the week before. So backline wasn't terrible. as I say, I would have loved to have some cover. And it's one of the major takeaways I'll take from this year going into next year is, yes, it's okay to get good players in. You want to be full primo. I really struggled with having a Goulden and a Dunkley, for example, in the forward line. If that was 2 more premiums there, and then like those guys in the forward line would have been fantastic. So missing out on 2 premiums there. But it's also the bench cover. So not having good bench cover really hurt. Jack McRae being injured and paying up for a lot of players as well. I found this year I really paid up and paid premium price for a lot of players who other people got a lot cheaper. Like, I think Joe got Rory Laird at 140K or something cheaper than what I did. Oliver as well. And I'm like, yeah, cool. These guys are going to keep their price. They didn't. Other people got them cheaper, and it really punished me. Bont, fantastic as always. Going to probably start him next year, depending on price. Laird, he's one, and we'll look at the history a bit later. Someone I brought in, kept for the whole year from then on, but ended up paying a lot more expensive than what other people did. Zach Merritt, get him in after the buys. You know he's going to be fantastic. Tom Green, as we said on the ride home, fantastic player, probably going to start him. Brayshaw, first time owning him. So very, very up and down. I probably won't own him again unless I get him as a bench cover. Goulden, fantastic as always. Neil, 50-50, and then Dunkley as well. So bloody fantastic player. Essendon should have taken him, but they didn't. Nick Dacos there. Obviously, he wasn't a bench player. I had Wagner there, but Dacos got injured and then Wagner came in. Jack McRae. His career's almost at a bit of a crossroads. I think if he was up for contract this year, the way the Dogs are going, there could really be some people saying, hey, we'll actually play you in your preferred position. We'll see what happens. Ended up keeping Rowan Marshall the whole year, which I didn't think I was going to. Worked out in the second half of the season. That first half of the season, though, that was bonkers. Briggs, fantastic player to bring in. Kind of struggled the last couple of games, you know. English, I think, scored a 150 and then Briggs scores a 99. So it's not great, but for the guy that we paid Joe, how much did we pay for Briggs? 230K or something?
Yeah, something ridiculous.
Yeah, to have him for the second half of the year. And just the laugh of the people that didn't have him as well. They're like, Briggs, every week, having someone to cheer for, you know, it kind of made Supercoach a lot more fun. Rosie, fantastic player. Cornelio was very frustrating. I look at these players, right, and they're good, and we'll touch on Taranto like Joe did, but I look at these players who end up finishing the game on a similar price to what they start, and it kind of shows you how their season's gone. It's been up and down, but it generally means a lot worse scoring. We want 100s from these premiums, and for him to basically be priced at like 90, it kind of shows where he's up to. People who didn't have him at points were just laughing. Taranto, a similar thing. What we got him at like 440K and then ended up being 476. So did we really get that much value out of him? Probably not, apart from the first couple of games. Similar with Cameron. Cameron, I think I made overall like 40K. So it kind of shows, yes, he was great at times as cover, maybe on the bench as cover, but not that way. Ben Key's a similar player, paid, 410 for him, ended up as 415. So cool, I'm happy with an 84, but not as a guy that's supposed to be on field, who's covering what a Dunkley or a Goulden in the forward lane would be doing. And that kind of really showed where the team was at. Marek, love him. And then Jack Zeeble. I mean, as a North Melbourne supporter, I'm happy. Like, I would have loved to get rid of him at some point, but he is kind of the captain. He was the captain. And, you know, for Centimonia's sake, I'll be happy there. The really big telling thing, though, is I look at my team compared to Joe's. It's the midfield players. It's the forward players in the midfield, which means I'm missing out on premiums. It's the cover on the bench. And it's a really good comparison. Like, I haven't really thought about it until now. But comparing, like, a team who was top 2K versus top 10K and kind of seeing where they are. Because we were very close for a majority of the season, right, Joe? Probably up until the buys, we were pretty close together.
I think you were obviously. I was a lot further back than you were.
Yeah, to start with.
But in terms of the scoring, yeah, it wasn't too dissimilar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of fell off a little bit with some bad choices, but yeah, just kind of having these players and then finishing the last game of the season with you scoring almost 300 points more than me kind of really shows where the team was at.
And my captain was Dawson, you know, who scored at 111.
Captain was Dawson. I bombed. Yeah. So it's a good showing and a good learning experience. And you know, I've played Supercoach a little bit more than Joe, and maybe he's a little bit more patient is probably the right word than what I am. Holds players like your Will Day and Steele and other ones for a bit longer than what I have, but it's all learning experience, and the next year is going to be a lot different as well. Just quickly checking out the history. Where do I go? Trade history. Cool. All right. It really was. Joe started off with the right premiums and then got rid of, the right mid prices and got rid of them. I ended up starting out with a few dodgy ones. Had your Bruin, had your Hopper. For some reason, I traded out Hopper and then brought him back in again. Flanders, I had him for way too long. Moving down the list, had Ridley. I mean, I did okay with getting rid of players. Like, that wasn't a bad thing. But it was overpaying for a Laird. Like, I brought him in at 650K. And other people would have brought him in at a much, much cheaper price. Much, much, much cheaper price. Like, what did he go down to? 595, 600K. That's 50K at that crucial point in the season is worth a lot. Other players similar as well. Cornelio, getting rid of players when I did was really good, but bringing players in at the wrong time really hurt. Your starting upgrades, your first kind of cash injection is a really big thing that you have to kind of monitor. Grab these premiums when they're really good, but otherwise you're going to fail a little bit. Moving down, round 9, I think was the week that really killed my season. Getting rid of Ashcroft before he went on that massive run. For some reason, I didn't realize that he was fantastic at Brisbane and then popped out like 130s 4 weeks in a row. And even Wilmot, like you could have kept him the whole season. Not that I would have, but you could have kept him the whole season and been happy. So getting rid of these two players at a terrible time. Yes, I brought in Weddle, who people had, and he was fantastic. But it's that round 15 buy that really hurt. These guys are perfect for that time. And then Jack Steele offloading him a few weeks later because he was getting injured. A couple of weeks after I brought him out, he did well, but then he kind of stunk for the second half as well. So overpaying for an Oliver, getting Meriden was great. Humphrey was fantastic. But at this point in time, I just didn't have cash because I had spent so much on these players down here. Round 12 was okay. But then, round 15 just murdered me. I think I had a few, I had like 2 donuts in there. Very limited bench cover. One of the major takeaways for next year is I'll be like, hey, I always know that there's going to be premiums available. And they will be cheaper. If not premiums, kind of guys around that 400K mark. What's his name? Himmelberg's been there a couple of times. We've seen a couple of Ruckman and things like that. So save some trades, save some money for that time. Because that second half of the season, you don't have to prepare for injuries. But make sure that you have decent and good bench coverage across each line. Because it will save you. People didn't have cover for Dacos. They didn't have cover for McRae. They didn't have cover for Doherty. That was me. We didn't have good premiums in the forward line because we were just trading guys in and out. So make sure you have that, and then you'll do that. As Tone says, don't get baited by the players averaging 90s. So, it happens. And that happened to me. That's why my rise up the rankings just didn't work out. But next year, we kind of know and we'll have fun. And we're joined by you guys. That's kind of the biggest thing. And that's what's made our season. Because those times that we didn't want to stream, those times that our players and our captains were shit. You guys on stream, you guys watching at home really made it worthwhile for us. So just saying thanks for that.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like I especially at the start of the year, I had no idea. Like we pumped out so many videos in that,
and we're going to do it again.
You know what I mean? Like we pumped out so many videos in that preseason, only to then just start the season at like 86,000 or something. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't believe it. Like, you put in all that hard work, all those hard yards, and then you come out and it's just like, oh crap, how am I going to face it? How am I going to face the music here? But honestly, we've got such an amazing community here on YouTube. And honestly, you guys who watch us, you guys and girls, honestly, like, made the season so much more enjoyable. So made the long haul back to a respectable rank all the more fun. And it was so great sharing what my trades were going to be with you guys, having these streams. It was my first year as content creation, and then when I hear things when we see things like this from Tone, man, like really appreciate it. Like massive love. And we've seen the rise of so many other YouTubers, and for us to be just a small part of your weekly routine, it's honestly awesome. So hopefully we improve.
We've really enjoyed the Thursday night cams as well. Like fan cams came in a bit later. Maybe we'll try and incorporate that with the Monday show or something like that. But Thursday night team sheets has been one of the most successful things, but one of the most enjoyable things too. Kind of just sitting back and just chatting, after work, whatever, on my way home, obviously, and then Joe here on the stream. So, yeah, it's been bloody fantastic.
Yeah, and we're going to do, right after this, we're going to start recording a video announcing the winner of the group, the Centre Bounce group on YouTube, announcing the winner there, the winner of the booby prize, the lottery prize, winner of the highest points scored in a week. And we'll have that video be announced. And if you guys reach out to us and have a webcam, we can also organize a time to then get you on as a video and have an interview and give you a real proper shout out that way.
Yeah, 100%. And we'll do it again all next year as well. So we're doing AFL fantasy, as you're saying, but next year's going to be bigger and better.
Fingers crossed. So please stick with us, guys.
And we'll catch you in the next one. We're going to probably do fan cams maybe again on Tuesday. We'll just wait and see. But, yeah, been fantastic. Thanks for staying on. Hopefully your teams win. If not, let us know. And we'll see you next week, guys. Catch you later.
See ya. Have a good one.